Ukraine's president has announced that his troops have captured 2 Chinese citizens fighting alongside Russia in Ukraine. Now, Kyiv says it's demanding an explanation from Beijing and is awaiting a reaction from Ukraine's allies.
We have captured Chinese soldiers on Ukrainian territory. Out of 6 Chinese soldiers, we have captured 2. They were carrying documents, their passports, even credit cards. They are Chinese citizens.
For more on this story, we can go across to Gulliver Craig standing by in Kyiv. Gulliver, what more do we know about this story?
Well, they were fighting, apparently, these Chinese men near Bilogorovka, which is in Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine. You heard Volodymyr Zelensky saying there that there were, according to the Ukrainian armed forces, 6 Chinese battle, but the Ukrainian president said that there was also information about much larger numbers of Chinese citizens fighting on the Russian side. It's not clear whether these are regular troops from the Chinese army or mercenaries of some kind. I suppose that's among the many details that the Ukrainian side is now seeking to work out, both in terms of an investigation that Volodymyr Zelensky announced was being carried out by the Ukrainian security services, and in terms of the answers that they are now asking Beijing to provide. Because, of course, China officially has a neutral stance in this war and would absolutely deny providing material or military support to Russia, although the Ukrainian side and others have on multiple occasions accused China of actually taking the side of the Russians here. There has never before been an allegation that Chinese nationals were fighting alongside the Russians. Volodymyr Zelensky in his statement went on to say that this should be treated as yet another indication that Vladimir Putin is not working towards peace at all, because, I mean, the implication of this would appear to be that the Russians are trying to get more people to fight on their side because they haven't got enough people themselves, with a view to a war that is expected to go on for some time yet.
Gulliver, this is not the first time we've heard of foreign fighters fighting alongside Russia. We know that it's happened in the Russian region of Kursk. Of course, that region which we saw Ukraine, that incursion which Ukraine had last year. Now we have reports that Ukraine is also fighting inside the Russian region of Belgorod. What more do we know on that front?
So it's seen as being largely thanks to the deployment of a North Korean contingent that Russia managed to force the Ukrainian side out of that part of Kursk region that they'd occupied, all bar a few dozen square kilometers that they still occupy. In the adjacent Russian region of Belgorod, Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed today for the first time what we have known for a couple of weeks, which is that the Ukrainians have made a small incursion there too. Nothing like the lightning offensive that we saw in August 2024 in Kursk region. They haven't occupied a vast swathe of territory, just a very small area near the border, both with Ukraine and near the border with Kursk region. A Ukrainian official commenting on this today said that they were defending mainly against Russian incursions into Sumy region, and that's why they had been bombarding Russian forces that had been amassing in Belgorod region with a view, the Ukrainians think, to launching a much larger offensive into Sumy region, and that in doing so the Ukrainians had also entered the region, that's the understanding, in order to force the Russians back. But if Volodymyr Zelensky is now commenting on it, and it's appearing on the maps drawn up by Ukrainian open source intelligence people, it's appearing that there's a small area of that Belgorod region now marked as disputed, so it looks as though they think they might have at least established some positions there that they might be wanting to try to hold on to. But the big talk at the moment in Ukraine is of this potential Russian offensive into Sumy region, which has already started. They've certainly made a bit of an incursion, the Russians, into the extreme northeast of that region, north of the regional capital, Sumy. They haven't got much further yet, but analysts are saying that the Russians have yet to really put the bulk of the forces that they've amassed along the border into this attempt to take territory in Sumy region.